Hey guys, Jason Nedved here with Nedved Precision Shooting. Thanks for tuning in for another weekend, another match. This one is in Phillips, South Dakota. It's a center fire match. Just on the other side of the state, 3.5 hours away, something like that. It's not too bad. I'm actually headed out to, it's Friday afternoon. I'm headed over to a buddy's place that lives nearby. He's got a range, so I'm going to sight in and do stuff over there. The problem with that is, I don't know if you can hear it, but it is super windy, and it's supposed to be windy where the match is at also. So that's going to be fun. But with that, it'll make the competition, I don't think the points are going to be as close together because of the way we have to read the wind and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited, but headed out there by myself, so no match debrief with someone, not a big deal. But yeah, just time frame, everybody's schedules, and yeah, so kind of excited. Last year I got third at this match, so we'll see what we can do this year. I brought the 6-dasher in my ACC chassis, so that's a Terminus Zeus on that one. We're gonna go to the range, shoot, sight in, hopefully, but it's gonna be 20 mile per hour, 30 mile per hour gusts, fun South Dakota winds, I guess. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Good morning. It is Saturday morning, right before the match. Stayed at a buddy's last night, shot at his range, so that went really well. Yeah, I think I only put 20 rounds down 2 megs, and shot prone out to 900 or 1,000 maybe, and everything was on, even in the wind, and then shot another meg off a barricade, shooting at various different targets. Just playing with that. So that went well last night, but now this morning, checking the weather, it's supposed to be nice. It's 50 degrees right now. It's supposed to get up to maybe 65, but the wind is anywhere between, supposed to be at like 23 mile per hour up to 40 mile per hour gusts. So, and I think the course of fire is facing to the west, and the wind is coming from the northwest. So at least it's not like right in our face. I don't really like those 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock winds. They're weird. But yeah, so we're just gonna be pulling up here in a little bit. And didn't bring the trailer. It was gonna be this windy, so I did not want to bring the trailer in this wind. So I just got a bunch of product in the back here. So hopefully sell some things. I know people have been messaging me wanting some things, so get that taken care of this morning, and then get ready for the match and hopefully do well. From last night, I should do very well, but today's a new day. We'll see how it goes.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Honestly, this is Jason with Nedved Precision Shooting. You guys know what it is. It's another weekend, so it's another match. And wow, this one was tough. This one was center fire, and it was anywhere between 18 to, someone said they got 42 to 43 mile per hour winds. I got up to 36 mile per hour winds. Center fire match. I'm tired. Just being out in the weather. I feel really hot. Trying to drink up some fluids, but holy cow, it was a good match. I was surprised at how well I did in the wind, honestly. Even though some of the close stuff I missed, and then some of the far stuff I missed, but to be expected. But it was crazy good match. So kind of a weekend brief here. Left Friday to go to a buddy's house. He lives really close by to the range, so I went to his range, and it is one of my favorite it's one of my favorite ranges in South Dakota, because he's got steel, well, not at 100 yards, but he's got paper at 100, then he's got steel every 100 yards after that, a large and a small, just going up the valley. So that's pretty sweet. Absolutely love that. I brag about it. I don't mention his name. Never do, but you know who you are. You watch my channel. I appreciate it. But yeah, I went out to his place, and his wife took care of me. They got a new puppy. Got to play with that, you know. So it was a good Friday night. So shot rifle did really well. I brought the ECC Zeus, Terminus Zeus, 6-dasher. That gun was shooting lights out on Friday night over at his place, so that worked out. So I was pretty confident going in the match. Then got to the match and knew it was going to be windy. And I know when I looked at the weather, it was going to be blowing hard. But yeah, we just dealt with it. So we'll just get right into it. I recorded this match was 50% prone, 50% barricades. So thank God on this kind of wind. I know there was one stage that completely kicked my butt because of the wind. Just I could not get steady to save my life, so that was really tough. But yeah, we'll get into it. So I started squad 3, stage 3. Met some really good guys. Had some good shooters in with me also, both of which beat me. But it was good to shoot with them, to try to get up to their level and shoot with them. Beat them on a couple stages, but you know, when they beat me, they really beat me. But when I beat them, it was by like 1 point. So, but I'll take one when I get. My goal for these matches is always don't zero stage and don't have any mental mistakes. Well, I had one mental mistake that cost me easy 2 points because it was a big turkey target and I engaged the wrong one, so that was on me. But yeah, we'll get into that. So I started squad 3, stage 3, and that was you shot a spinner target. So these matches are kind of going away from spinner targets because they're unfair, they say, because of the, you know, bonus points, or either you get it spun or you don't. Back when I started shooting, it was either you spin it or you don't. It's a spinner target, so you got 10 points or you got 0. And that's the way it was. So yeah, I own, I think, 4 spinner targets now, 3 of which are rimfire, and 1 centerfire one. So I really enjoy spinners now. Not then, but now I do. But now they're going away from all. So this spinner target, you had to engage the top, then the bottom, and then do a KYL, and then engage bottom, then top on the spinner. So did that. The wind was picking up pretty good. I don't remember how much wind I had to pull. I happen to have all my dope cards here. I'll see if I can't find it. So stage 3 here, look at that right on top. I was having to hold 8/10 of wind on that one at 367 yards, and then the KYL, I did 8/10 of wind there also, roundabout. I don't remember exactly, but so yeah, it went all right. And then after that, I got a 7 on that, 7 out of 10, or 7 out of 9. I missed, gosh, I don't remember which one I missed, but I know I missed 1 on the KYL. It's large to small, and I missed the second to smallest one or something like that. So yeah, that went all right. I was kind of happy with it for being the first stage. Usually you got those first stage jitters. It went pretty well. Then we get to stage 4. This one here was on a smoker, super stable barricade. My squad, it was just one barricade. You're just on it, or you know, the smoker, and then you shot these turkeys, and you had 3 hens to shoot, and then 2 toms, going from 347 to 574. They were big wide targets I shouldn't have missed, but you had to shoot the middle one, then the right one, then the left one. Well, I went middle, right, middle without knowing I did engage far enough left to find that other turkey. So I dropped 2 right off the bat there. And then I think I missed another one trying to figure out winds. So I ended up with a 5 on that one. So I could have easily got 7 because I missed that third turkey at 437 yards, which I had my wind figured out on those and I shouldn't have missed it. So had that mental mistake or wrong engagement, so that kind of sucked. But learned from it, you know, for next weekend, going to Oklahoma for the Okie Showdown. 2-day PRS match there. So at least if I learned something at this match, you know, I can walk away saying did learn something. So, but hopefully no more mental mistakes. Then stage 5, line up at the 73. So apparently, so if you get a clean run, you get a free drink at the bar where we had awards. And I just left there, but no one cleaned it. And what you had to do was you shot an 18-inch at 873, 20-inch at 973, and then a 24-inch at 1073. And I'm not going to go looking through these too hard, but that wind was crazy. And somehow I got an 8, so they said I get the free drink, you know, so I really appreciate the owner doing that for me. Yeah, that was really nice. But let's see here, stage 5. Yeah, I can't find that one. But anyway, the wind is super crazy, so I got an 8 on it. I was super excited, especially with the wind at 1073. I think then it was about a 23 mile per hour wind because it's still kind of early. But wait, stage, no, I can't find it. So yeah, that was good. And then let's see here. Stage 6. This one I got a 4 on. That one did not go well. For some reason, they had all these targets at the same distance. Like, that's fine. That's great. But my problem was big square, then smaller square, then on another hangar, they have 3 targets, and I could not touch those 3 targets in my life. And they were shooting off these barricades, this junkyard. It was literally a spool, a chair, a folding chair, an old tire with a rim on it, and what was the other one? An old oil tank, fuel tank thing, and then a desk, an old desk. So they were kind of steady. I tripoded it and started from rear, going left. When I say tripod, I meant I used the tripod for rear support. I felt really good on it. I wasn't really wobbling around, but I could not get that wind figured out as I should have, because you got how many shots and the targets, you know, I hit the first 4 and then I could not touch that second rack at the same distance, just smaller targets. So that was kind of a little stressful there. Stage 7, got another 4. That was diamonds. They had 337, but this was different because with these diamonds, you were going from everything today was like at 3 o'clock, but then all of a sudden these diamonds, you had to fan hard left and then work your way back to the right. The first diamonds went well, and then I couldn't touch the second rack because they were stacked on top of each other, large, small, and then another large, small. Well, I missed all 4 of those, and I missed the other shot at the large diamond at 773 yards. Just this wind, guys, this wind from 21 to 29 at this time in the life here. 7. Stage 8 didn't go well either. Got a 3. Coyotes. Guys, don't know what's going on, but if you give me an animal target in front of me, coyote, whatever, I'm gonna miss it. It's just gonna happen. But if you put a triangle in front of me at the same distance, I'll hit that triangle. But I don't know what it is. Aim small, miss small. I try that, and I have no idea what was going on. But I think after these few stages here, what I did strange, and hopefully you guys smarter than me, with this wind coming from 3 o'clock, right? So 3 o'clock wind, is going to raise your bullet, or it's not going to fall as quickly, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So all my dope was asking for 3/10 less, and makes sense, right? 2 to 3/10 less. Well, I was noticing on all these stages that I got 4 and 3 and doing great. I was coming in low. So I went in my Kestrel and took the arrow jump off. What do you guys think of that? And then I was dead nuts. Center watermarking these targets. So this was about that time I turned that off. So what arrow jump is your Kestrel is automatically calculating at 3 o'clock when your bullet's going to rise or stay in the air a little bit longer. So it's actually calculating that dope out. So instead of saying you got a 3 mil hold for elevation, it's actually going to say it's like 2.7 or about 2.7, 2.8 dope or something like that. And then obviously with these further targets, it's going to be a little bit more. Maybe not much more, but it's going to be more. So I took that off because I was coming in low on these things. And then on stage 9 here, 536, 436, 374, 324, and 263. I started showing up again, got a 6, so I was kind of happy, kind of coming in. This one, he did start out far and come in near, so you just had to really have that good wind call. But it went well. I was happy with that. Then comes, I think, the fun stages. Yeah, so this one here, I took that arrow jump off and I started getting the confidence, got a 6 out of 10 on that one. And then stage 10, got a 9 out of 10. Yeah, 9 out of 10 on this one. Engage the nearest posts. So top bottom, you have these massive squares just to build confidence up. At 449, you had a 10 and 12-inch square. And then the further post, you had a 12-inch circle and a 12-inch square at 584. And then you had a full-size IPSC at 1202. Just a bright white IPSC. Hasn't been shot. It's been shot at, but not a lot of impacts on it, right? And at 1,202 yards, stage 10, right here, I had no ship plan. I don't know if you can see that. My nice handwriting. I had no ship plan. 20 mile per hour up to 28 mile per hour, okay? I ended up needing all of my 28 mile per hour. So I did a 26 mile per hour at 1202, and that would have been 6 mils, 5.9. So I put that on the target, 6.0, and I dial my wind. I made that video of dial versus holdover. Well, I was definitely dialing my wind, and I learned today, you can dial to 5 mils until it turns an L. So I'm dialing right 6 mils, and then all of a sudden I'm 4 or 5 mils left. Well, according to my turret, because I turned it so much. So that was kind of a mental game to make sure you turn it the correct way back. That screwed up, but it was just a conversation in your squad. But anyway, 1202, I ended up having to hold 6 mils, or dialed 6 mils shot. Seen it go off the left, and then I was able to correct, seen that, and just followed up right away, set the second one, and was able to get an impact. So that was kind of fun, because the guy that shot before me... Hey, sorry, that video cut out in my vehicle, and it was starting to get a little dark, and yeah, I don't know what happened. But we're back. I did notice it cut out, but I still have all my stuff, and my dope card's still written out. So we're just going to finish it up here. We left off at 10, and so 11. So because of the dope and what I found out on 10 at 1202 on that full-size IPSC that I was able to make impact on second round, I took that same data, so I hit that at 6.5 mils. Like I said, I aimed at 6, sent it, seen it go off the left, just measured it in my reticle, moved over, and sent it. Then it impacted at 6.5 on a small, or a full-size IPSC out there. So I remembered what I did, carried that to the next stage, because on the next stage, we had stage 11 where you had a deer on the right at 1137.
Then you had a deer on the left at 1029, and then you had a wolf that looked really small at 821. So I just took that same information. So it ended up being 29 mile per hour wind is what the last where I impacted the IPSC. So on my dope cards here, I write out the range, the elevation, and then I have wind 1, 2, and 3. And then I have room for 4, 5, and 6 if I need that many winds, but hopefully we don't get in those kinds of situations. So at 11:37, I dialed 6.1 for a wind, and being a deer target, hopefully we can catch it. And I did. So that was really exciting for me because at 11:37, getting a first round impact in 29 mile per hour winds, I was pretty happy with it. Then same thing at 10:29, then 8:21. What you had to do was go engage the far target, and then with 2 shots, then the left deer with 2 shots, the wolf with 2 shots, and then go from the wolf, left deer, right deer with 1 shot. So basically 2, 2, 2, and then hit the wolf again, and then go. I think I missed the wolf twice, and then one of the deers on the way out, going back out. So I ended up getting a 6 out of 9 on that. But just being able to make an impact in 29 mile per hour wind, I was pretty excited, you know, carrying that information over from the IPSC from the stage before to the deer. So then we got to stage 12. This one was engaging near posts, 3 targets at the bottom. So this one's kind of cool because they had target hanging solutions, I'm guessing is who made it. Chris Offer, I mentioned him before. He was in my squad, great guy. He's got a lot of steel. So he had these AR500 posts and then 3 hooks on it and had these targets going up it. So he had it going up, and then a little bit further to the right, another set of targets going up, and then a little bit further to the right, another set of targets going up. So 3, 3, and 3. And then hard left, way over there, was another target. And the amount of change that you had to do from going to here, going up this way, you know, working your way into the wind, and then you did a hard left turn at a circle that you actually had to pick up your rifle and move over, was different, you know, playing with the wind and trying to get the wind directions, and especially with the 29 to, I put 26 mile per hour wind on this one, because we were kind of blocked by the rolling hills and stuff like that. So I got a 7 out of 10. The center ones, the first set of targets were kind of difficult to see, just being all gray and shot up. That's why I don't paint my targets, because at the beginning of the day, I'm sure those things were bright and people could see it. But the only reason people were seeing it is because the way everybody was missing left and right, it just was cut out around it. So yeah, that was a good one too. I started getting my elevation and stuff figured out, so it went well. Then we went back around to stage 1. This is where I got my butt whooped, but I didn't zero anything. You know, this is a course of fire with that strong a wind. That's, you know, my goal is always, number 1, don't have any mental mistakes. Well, I had one of those. And then number 2, don't get a 0 on any of the stages. This one we came close. This one you had to engage a prairie dog left to right, 1 shot each around this pond. And you had to shoot off an ATV left to right, no dialing, but they were all 352, 333, 352, 325, so within a tenth of each other. So I just dialed for it, and you know, you're gonna get a prairie dog. So I thought. So you shot off a ATV 1, 2, 3, and then you move over to this cattle gate in one position on there, 1, 2, 3, and then move over to an old tractor tire, 1, 2, 3. Well, in this wind, trying to not get blown over yourself and holding your equipment so that doesn't get blown over, like using a tripod or something, and your rifle, and it was just, you're trying to make the most stable position, and it was just rough. It was really rough. Ended up with a 1, thank God. So we didn't get a 0. But it was just, you feel like you're on the target, you're just kind of swaying back and forth, you squeeze it off, and no, it did not connect. So it was kind of rough, but we made it through it with a 1. But it really did hurt because it was one of the last stages. Yeah. Then the last stage of the day, we had Bermuda triangles, okay? So we all know triangles targets are not the easiest. And I got a buddy in my squad that he has mentioned this before. So you got your triangle. Okay, this is the biggest part, right? Down here. So you got your triangle. You try to aim at the bottom or whatever. Well, what he does, and we were talking about it or kidding around about it, because we were confusing Chris a little bit, you dial up a 10th, and then the same for the bottom of that triangle. So technically, you're aiming here right at the bottom, but you're dialed up a 10th, so you're just centering it. But it's just a little trick, just aim for the center of it, but they're just gray. The first target was it was a gray target, obviously, because it was been shot all day. But before, at the beginning of the day, it wasn't. So that's why I just leave my targets gray. Anyway, we've talked about that. It was so hard to see. Apparently the squad in front of us, or I don't know if it was the squad in front of us, but the RO had mentioned that it was so difficult to see. People were struggling finding it and finally gave up and just sent 2 in the dirt because they were not able to see that target because it was just a gray target and you had the gray trees, the sun was on the other side of it, so it wasn't glistening off, it was later in the day. And so that's kind of makes it unfair, again, the painting of the targets. Don't do it, just leave them all gray. But with the Razor Gen 3, I was able to see it, no problem. You always got to look at the stage and pre-plan it and figure out what's going on, because they had like a watering thing for the cattle. Sorry, I'm not a farmer. And you just looked at that, and then through my binos, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go up from that one. It's right above that T-post. So that's what I did, and then you could see that little gray thing. Sent it, got that, and then you had to come close over the pond that we just shot the prairie dogs. There was another one, and then go to the right, going further out. Sorry, I got the distances here. So that hard one to see was at 555, then you came close to 355, then you went back out to 455, and then a little, I called it the Taco Bell one, because it's kind of the same shape as that, that really cold match. That team match I just did. So I called it the Taco Bell, then one of the squad mates, it does look like a Taco Bell. So that was kind of funny, but anyway, then you came to 255 and shot that little Taco Bell. Last stage of the day, and then I was able to clean it in I don't even have the card. In the rough wind that we had, and fanning from left over the pond, somewhere in the trees, and if you miss, you're in the trees, so you're not going to be able to see it. And then going to the right to shoot that little Taco Bell one. So was able to clean a stage. So we definitely had some highs and lows at this match of, thank God we got 1 point, and then right after cleaned a stage, and triangles of all things. And I didn't do that little trick of dial up a 10th on all your dope or write it down so you don't have to think on the clock like me. I hate thinking on the clock. I can't. Dial up a 10th. No, I just aimed for the center of the target. It was prone, just sent it and hope for the best. It was really important to kind of understand the wind at this match, because your first target, like on these triangles, if you missed because of wind, you always have to have a plan B, but you got to think, did I have too much wind, too little wind? This was one match that I have seen people overestimate the wind more than any other match. I know some friends in Minnesota, they always say, oh, missed on the pro side because they had too much wind, versus, I just missed because I didn't have enough wind. So apparently there's a pro way to miss and a not a pro way to miss. So that's
kind of interesting way to look at it. But because of the wind, you had to have a plan B, and my plan B towards the end of the day was to take off some wind because, yeah, it was blowing, 29, 28, but what I've kind of found down the field was it was about 26 to 24 mile per hour. So I always took wind out. It's like, okay, it's feeling really strong. It feels like it's getting stronger. You're looking at your apps, you're looking at your Kestrel, everything. And then you'd send it, and it's like, shoot, did I just miss off the right? Because it's coming this way. And so you take wind out. So that was the same for the whole squad is, I was helping out new shooters, and I would always say, you got to take out wind. You got to take out wind. You got too much wind in there. They'd be a half mil too much. So that was really important. You need to have your plan B. So at the end of it, you really think like, shoot, that went horrible. A lot of ones or not a lot of ones, but 1-1, some 3s, some 4s, some 5s, one clean. You just think it's just a really difficult day. You're just getting pounded all day, just struggling. But the scores, apparently I wasn't the only one that struggled. I forget that, it's me against me, but then you got everybody else in the same elements shooting at the same time. So you had Chris win it. Congrats, Chris, with 92 points. And then me, I shot a 70. And I just felt horrible. It's like, holy cow, that was really rough. But I ended up placing 9th out of, 93 shooters. So I think that went really well. At the end of it, it was like, holy cow. But it was crazy because you got Chris at 92, then me in 9th at 70 points. So just the difference there. And then you go down 10 more spots. So let's just go down to 20th, 56 points. So it just drops off so quickly. Then even your 30th place was 47 points. I was talking to people at supper afterwards, and they got a 41 or 47 or wherever, and they were just like, no, this was not good, did horrible, all this stuff, and they still placed in the top quarter, so, or dang near top third. So it was just a really tough match, but you have to remember everybody else is shooting in those same conditions. So it was good. That was the rifle I was using. The only reason I was using that one is because I need this one for this weekend going down to the Okie Showdown down in Oklahoma. So that will be fun, but I only had 100 and some rounds loaded up for that one, and I got 200 and some, so it's just perfect amount. So I'm going to have to reload as soon as I get home from Oklahoma. So now it's just getting that rifle ready to go and shooting Oklahoma. Another weekend, another match. You know how it goes. So, yeah, a lot of lessons to learn. Target acquisition was important at the end of the day because of the gray targets. So some of them were getting hit. And then just reading the wind, playing with the wind, looking at the rolling hills and stuff like that. And then just remembering that, yes, it's really difficult and I'm having a rough day, but everybody else is shooting in the same exact conditions. That's just one thing I kind of forgot. I've mentally worked on, you shoot a stage, you do poorly. Okay, let's learn from it, move on, right? Just don't let it bother you. Move on, let's go. So, after doing poorly, getting a 3 or a 4 or whatever, I was able to forget about it and move on. But then at the end of the day, it's just like, holy cow, you're adding up your scores and it's just so low. It's just like, holy cow. And at that moment, I did kind of forget everybody else was shooting in the same conditions, So, yeah, 9th place. I am happy with it. Ended up winning a sweet cert. I was going to literally buy one anyway. And I won a cert for one. So that's the best thing. 100% off too. So, yeah, super excited for that. But, yeah, good trip. I think if it was less wind, I think it would have been a really good match. It was a good match, don't get me wrong. But just more enjoyable for those newer shooters because all day I was helping call out take off a half mil, you're low, you're high, just helping out these guys. They really appreciated it. Even got me a drink at the bar. I appreciate that. Thank you, but I really enjoy doing this. So yeah, good match, and we'll see what next weekend brings. We'll see you at the range, guys. Thanks.